and bass. And now we started things off with Soma 7, the song Jenny's Dream. Now in your Facebook search box, just type in Soma 7 Music, like all one word, and you'll find many links in the About section to find all of the music from the band. All right, that brings us to our conversation with Jon Anderson. I mentioned a few shows ago that I suffered a complete system meltdown, and I thought this interview was lost forever. I really did. Fortunately, my producer, Paul Doty, well, he still had it in his Dropbox. There it was, sitting, waiting for me. There it was. So now we had our talk just after football season started. All right, and I actually happened to be, and actually that same day was my 1-year wedding anniversary, so it was a good day. So let's get to it. Here is part 1 of my conversation with Jon Anderson. I know that this is on everyone's mind. Everyone's thinking about this, so let's get right to it. How are you feeling about the Niners this year?
Looking pretty good. You know, it's early days. First game was good. Second game was a little sort of rusty, but we'll get together. They've got some great running backs, which is great. And, we've got Mr. Moss. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Such an exciting year last year for the Niners.
It was just the best. After 10 years of drought, it was like manna from heaven.
Yeah, I've never eaten so many nachos and screamed so loud. I tell you, I had a great year last year.
The same.
Well, I want to take you back to June 6th of 2009. I was fortunate enough to be in attendance at a show you played at a place called Mongo's in Grover Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I was there. It was a very special show for a few reasons. As I recall, you had just become an American citizen.
That's true.
It was your wife's birthday.
That's true. I decided
to
celebrate her birthday by doing a show for her and some presents,
right.
And there you were.
Yeah, I believe that it was also your first show back from your illness and injury.
Right, yeah.
Can you kind of talk about the road leading up to that show?
Well, it was more a question of we all go through some illness in our lives, and mine just compounded in 2008. So 2008, from about the beginning to the end, I went through 3 really powerful events where I nearly died 3 times. It's kind of an amazing experience on many levels, and thankfully, like a rebirth.
Boy, 3 times to go through that kind of... Do you think maybe... I'm not trying to be flippant, but do you think maybe there was a lesson the first time around you didn't learn, and so the universe said, okay, we got to do this again? I mean, 3 times in that amount of time. That's
probably. You know, it was like, come on, John. You know, your life is very important. Look after yourself. You know, I nearly drowned on New Year's Eve, and then got very sick and stopped breathing for a while in March, and then it was April, and then August comes, and I've been sick for quite a while, and doctors could never figure it out, but it just compounded itself on my body. So by that time, I had to have about 7 operations over a period of 6 months to clear the problem. And the universe was saying, you have more work to do. The great work is coming. And I'm saying, yes, I want to stay alive. And my wife, Jane, was just incredible, like an angel, just looking over me and watching over me. And we're very in love, and we're very thankful for our lives together. We're now 20 years in. And it seems like a week. It's just an amazing experience to go through. And then she knows that I want to travel the world and do musically really great things that I want to come through with over the next 20, 30 years. And so I have great dreams, and she's there with me. So we're a good team.
Now, last year, you released a CD in 2011. I've listened to it many, many times. I got to tell you, the track that stood out to me is called Sharpening the Sword.
Well, I've been working on and off with this guy, Jamie Dunlap, who actually does the music for South Park. So every now and again, he'll send me a musical idea. And actually, I was in Paris at the time. And most of the music that I do, I'm working with people via the internet, which is a great tool to work with. And one of the things that stood out about the track, it was very, very ancient sounding to me. So I'm singing about empowerment, really. And my spiritual teacher told me that that 2008 experience was you were putting yourself, your soul was being put into the fire to sharpen it like a samurai sword, to be strong enough to carry on with your work. So I put that into the song.
Yeah, that's a powerful song. When it first started, just musically, it kind of reminded me a bit of the Cielo y Tierra project that you did in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
But this one kind of reminded me of that. I just love the song.
Good. I think, music has got so many variations, a constant, limitless energy, and so you never know what kind of music you're going to create. So every day for me, I've got a couple of dozen people that I'm working with on a constant basis around the world by the internet. So they send me music. It can be just an acoustic guitar or just a drum thing or something, and then all of a sudden a full orchestra comes through one day. So it's an adventure.
Swimming in the sea of illusion, dancing for the rights of love, crashing through the waves of fear, looking hard but I did not see. After all the songs of revolution, the battles with heaven's light, but if they did not really look, they did not really answer to the call. Living in the fire of the living wisdom, sharpening the sword of the samurai. Living in the fire of the living wisdom, sharpening the sword of the samurai. Living in the fire of the living wisdom.
That was Sharpening the Sword from John Anderson's Survival and Other Stories. We'll be hearing more music from that CD in just a little bit. But right now, let's get back to our conversation with John Anderson. Here's part 2 of the interview.
A lot of artists have done it's very popular to do like duets, albums, Elton John, Santana. But this is it's almost like a duets album, except that every song is just from a different person.
Yeah, I remember the second song is a young guitar player who lives in Holland, and he came to a show. I know his brother, so Peter came, and he just played to me. I said, send me that track, and he did a week later, and then I sang it. And it was like, that's how music is. You make music for music. You don't make music for money. And I always had this major problem over the years with record companies thinking that money is everything rather than music is everything.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's music business, and I've heard it said before where the people who are in charge of the music business aren't musicians, they're businessmen.
Right, they're accountants and lawyers and businessmen. They started off with musical people like Albert Hertigan, one of the great people. He was a jazz fan. He was a music fan. So he was in it for the music, and obviously the business took care of itself with his brother, but he was like most Barry Gordy and all these people, they were in it for the music. But of course, business would work, but when you put the business in front of the music, that's what you get every day now. You get this, what it used to be like 40 years ago, pop music, as in, hey, that's why I like bands like Battles and, Grizzly Bear, these bands that really push the envelope, because there are a lot of young musicians interested in music and the adventure of music and so on. Eventually, the new world is the new world, and we don't have record companies anymore. We don't have CDs, really, in as much as you can download anything you want these days, and there's no harm in that.
Just looking through.
From his latest CD, that's Oliver Wakeman along with Gordon Giltrap. That was called Maybe Tomorrow, preceded by LIW. The CD is called Ravens and Lullabies. Go to oliverwakeman.co.uk and get all the info there. All right, so about half of it's instrumental. The other half has vocals. It's awesome. As a matter of fact, Benoit David also makes an appearance on the CD. All right, and like I said earlier, I'm just about to have another interview with Oliver very soon. Now, back to our conversation with John Anderson. Here's part 3 of our interview.
Over the years, you've really embraced modern technology and sort of kind of always been on the cutting edge. I still have my copy of the Yes Active, the Talk CD-ROM that came out in the 90s, and now here we are having a Skype conversation with all this technology. But where do you draw the line? How do you feel, for example, about like auto-tune?
I don't know what that is, actually.
Oh, auto-tune? That's where you'll hear the voice is corrected synthetically
Oh, I
to
like
be
it.
in tune.
I like
You
it.
do.
Yeah, because a lot of people can't really sing that great, but they've got great energy to want to sing. So they plug them in the auto-tune, all of a sudden they're sounding cool. There's no harm in that. It's like they plugged an electric guitar in to make it louder. In those days when that happened, people freaked out. How dare you electrify a guitar? How dare you?
Yeah, that's right.
And then, rock and roll came. How dare you wiggle your legs and scream? Things about sex and, that's the devil's music.
Right.
So here we are, diddling around with electronic gadgets that actually are fun. In fact, I was trying to use one the other day, and the guy said, "No, John, your voice is great." No, I said, "I want to have that sound. I want to have that sound. It's kind of unique, So he said, "Okay, I'll try it." I haven't heard back from him yet, so we'll see.
That'll be interesting to hear.
Well, it's just a sonic sound that I like.
Yeah.
It's really, if you listen to Glee, it's all over the place. It's really
Exactly.
good. Glee do great production, and we've been watching it since day one. And those kind of shows are a lot of fun because they're very tongue-in-cheek, But the productions are damn good,
Born to dance, born to dance. Each one sacred step of life. Born to dance, born to dance, born to dance. Each one sacred step of life. Born to dance.
At the end of my radio show, one of the things I do every day is I give a thought for the day, life quotes and things of this nature. Do you have a favorite quote or life motto that you would like to share with us?
Well, I've had a couple of mantras. One was, it'll happen when it happens, and it's become now, it's happening. Don't fret, don't push it. Let go and let it happen. Let go and let God.
We're going to go ahead and close the show with a song that I'd like for you to pick. If you could sort of think of your entire recorded career, early days of Yes, John and Vangelis, solo album, soundtrack, guest appearances, and so on, all of that. Can you pick one song that you would like me to play that you're maybe particularly proud of or felt it didn't get its due at the time, or just kind of one song that we can end the show on per your request?
Gosh. Well, I love the Talk album. There's one song on, I think it's the last track on that album.
Endless Dream.
Endless Dream, yeah. I just love that song.
What is it about the song that moves you so
Well,
much?
me and Trevor wrote it together at a time when, it was just me and Trevor by ourselves in a studio. And it was a very magical time because I hadn't really written with Trevor one-on-one. I worked with him writing All of Our Lonely Heart, all the other songs, but it was more with a producer, and I was in the studio, and Trevor would pop in and out. But for me and Trevor to sit and just compose ideas together, that album really always came through to me. It was really a very interesting time, and I enjoyed it very much.
John, I've been a fan for very, very long. It's been an honor for me to be able to have this conversation.
Excellent. I wish you well.
Thank you very much, my friend. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.